Like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for April 22nd, 2020. Roll call.
President Zipfeld.
Here.
Vice President Rogers. Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
I would like to ask the best dressed of us, our Township Solicitor, Kristen Pianzo, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
Flag
The United
of the United States of
of
America,
America,
to the
the
republic
republic for
for
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
All right, is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus. I think there's a second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that our agenda is approved. Folks, before we move into what is a relatively short item, I have some announcements. First, I need to announce that the board met in executive session to discuss real estate and litigation. And then I'd like to give some updates with regard to the COVID-19 events. And unfortunately, I need to lead off with a sad event. We are starting the meeting for the second time in a row with some sad news and moments of silence for two Hatfield residents. First is that we lost a second resident to COVID-19. We do not know much beyond that other than we lost another resident. Last meeting, we had announced that we lost our first resident. Unfortunately, now we have a second. In addition to that, Hatfield lost one of the region's most well-known and successful business and community leaders within the last couple of days, and that's Butch Clemens. Mr. Clemens spent his entire professional career working for Hatfield, one of the Hatfield largest employers, Hatfield Quality Meats, including finishing his career as president and CEO of the great company. He was active at his church. He was a volunteer firefighter for Township for 33 years, and even served as a Township elected official for 9 years. Despite all of his success, Mr. Clemens was one of the most humble and down-to-earth people you could ever meet. I know that from experience. I know many of the rest of us know that as well. And he was always great to the Hatfield Township community. So with that, I'd ask that everyone rise and just take a moment of silence for both of those great Hatfield residents. Thank you. A couple of quick updates that go along with how we've been doing with regard to the coronavirus. Although we have a light agenda tonight, I'll tell you that the township has never been busier. I know that for certain, providing services to the community while we're trying to modify the working conditions to abide by the governor's guidelines and the counties and to keep employees and residents safe. In addition to providing the usual services of public safety, and Chief, we tip our caps to you and your entire crew yet again for such a fantastic job you've been doing. But also to Parks and Road Maintenance, which has been ongoing. Our staff and our commissioners have spent time in the past several weeks recognizing local healthcare workers for being on the front lines of this pandemic. I believe that we're going to see some photographs of a parade that started at, I think, Culp Elementary and went down to Lansdale Hospital, right in Hatfield, at the edge of Hatfield Township, where the nurses and doctors were recognized by police, volunteer fire, commissioners, and staff as they walked in for their scheduled shift. And for those who were ending their shift, they came out to rounding applause. And I think that they were thrilled and very, very pleased to see us there. I think Aaron's got some video to share of the police greeting the Hatfield healthcare workers as they got home too. We have our local police have been meeting healthcare providers that reside in Hatfield at their homes, probably scaring them a little bit to seeing all the sirens and police just for a moment, only to then be very pleased to see that our public safety has come out to support them and give them a round of applause. And you can also see this on the Township and the police Facebook pages. And Chief, again, thank you to you and all the public safety members of our Township. We are continuing to collect non-perishable food at the police station lobby for the Hatfield Food Pantry. Thanks to all of those who have donated. We greatly appreciate that. You may know that Earth Day is today, I think. I think I've got my days correct. Unfortunately, the Earth Day event and the 5-mile race are both canceled for this weekend. Our plan is to reschedule the recycling event at a later date, and we hope to have our regular normally scheduled 2 other races late in the summer and then also in the fall. So recently we've received many questions from residents about the 2020 pool season. Commissioner Andrus is working with the Pool Advisory Board and the staff to develop a plan based on several scenarios. Not an easy task, I'm sure. As much as we want our residents to enjoy the county's, what we believe is the county's premier public swimming facility, we will ultimately be guided by the recommendations for the county and for the state health officials to make sure opening the pool is safe for residents and employees. With regard to permits, all permits are still being received remotely and all calls are still answered by a Township employee. If you want to submit a permit application, you can do so by emailing it to hatfield@hatfield.org. Again, that's hatfield@hatfield.org, and it will be reviewed electronically. However, only permits for work that meets the governor's requirements, the governor's criteria, will be issued at this time. Special congratulations and thanks to Sergeant Scott Woodford, who recently retired from the Hatfield Police Department after 29 years of service. Chief, I think normally right around this time there is a last ride, right? Just given the circumstances, my guess is that we weren't able to have a last ride for Officer Woodford other than from his co-workers. Please pass on our well wishes and congratulations. And of course, we'll recognize Scott at a public meeting when possible. And we are terribly and fantastically grateful for his service to the community. Hopefully this is our last virtual meeting. If not, of course, we'll continue the way that it is. But we hope to get back to our regular meetings come May 13th, which is our workshop meeting. And last but not least, we want to get special thanks to the businesses who have contributed to our local organizations and who have reached out to support the Township staff during this crisis. Those include the North Penn High School baseball team for donating lunch, the American Legion Post 933 for donating disinfecting wipes, Ray Masser and his family. You may remember that Ray's wife just recently passed. She was a longtime resident, employee, and a fantastic member of our Township community. Ray and his family were donating masks to the police department, and the Bernie Wealth Consulting for donating lunch to the Township staff. So thank you to all of those for taking care of our Township staff in this difficult time. We greatly appreciate it. With that, we're going to move on to our agenda, which again is rather brief. So we'll jump right into the consent items. Is there a motion to move into the record the consent items listed in your agenda?
Commissioner Lee, so moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Zimmerman, I believe. She made eye contact with me, and even though she's on mute, I think that she's seconded it.
I was going to say, am I still muted? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving the consent items into the record, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
And those are the ones that are listed in the agenda. I didn't go through them, but they're obviously right on the screen there. Actually, for those who are watching and listening, it includes the Board of Commissioners workshop meeting minutes of April 8th, the Treasurer's report for the month of April, and bills payable, paid bills in the amount of $321,975.05, and unpaid bills in the amount of $608,428.99. And that's what was just moved into the record. Citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments on agenda items? Aaron, if you would, open that up to the public.
All right, I'm unmuting both residents that are in the meeting today, and they're both unmuted if they would like to speak.
Well,
We're good, thanks.
we suspect that there's actually 3 residents because probably one of those numbers has 2 of our long and beloved residents, Tina and Bob. So
Aw.
we're probably up to 3 residents tonight, by the way.
Woo,
So,
a
all right.
party.
Hearing no citizens' comments on agenda items, we're going to move to our 2 action items. Very straightforward items, but I'll take a motion for approval with regard to Resolution 20-09 with regard to the Little Round Industries 2800 Richmond Road land development. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrews, second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Aaron, I'm not sure if you or Ken will be walking us through this.
Let Ken summarize.
You have to unmute.
Ken, you're on mute.
There we go. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This is an addition to an existing metal fabrication plant on Richmond Road. The resolution called for contributions for sidewalk, for landscaping, and for the traffic impact fee. All have been agreed upon by the developer, and we have a signed resolution for the project. I think you can see on your screen the site where the project is located, directly opposite Penn Color on Richmond Road, and next to the cold storage plant as well. So this is ready to go. If there are any questions, we'll certainly be happy to answer them. But I think this one's pretty straightforward, and we did talk about it 2 weeks ago.
We did, Ken. I have a quick question based on that and based on where it's situated. I'm assuming we've had no residential concerns or questions that have come into us.
No, we haven't. There are no residential neighbors. The nearest neighbor would be on the opposite side of Berge Road to the east. But
Right.
there have been no concerns about this one.
All right. Any other questions or comments, commissioners or otherwise? All right. Hearing none, I'm going to call the question. All in favor of Resolution 20-09, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing no opposition, Resolution 20-09 is approved. One other action item, and that is Resolution 20-10. Is there a motion for approval with regard to the Select Properties Fox Meadow Drive land development?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers, second by Commissioner Andrus. Ken, do you have this one as well?
I do. This one, and you can see on the screen for anybody who has a screen in front of them. This property is directly adjacent to the Walnut Creek subdivision, which is currently under construction. It's being developed by the same developer who is doing Walnut Creek, and it adds 6 units to the project. The 6 units are behind the Arbor's townhouses on 309 and are accessed off the private road that serves the development itself. So there is no impact on any township roads, no impact on township services. You can see on the screen now the 6 units and the driveway access that comes off of the main road that serves Walnut Creek. Similar to the last application, we distributed a resolution to them that was prepared by Ms. Pianzio, and the applicant returned it to us signed and ready to go. It includes a $10,800 escrow, or I'm sorry, contribution for landscaping and an $11,400 traffic impact fee.
All right. Any questions or comments? Also very straightforward. All right. Not hearing any, I will call the question. All in favor of Resolution 20-10, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved as well. All right, we are done with our action items, and folks, we have a short meeting tonight. So is there any citizens' comments about agenda items or otherwise? Maybe.
Both residents are unmuted, Mr. President.
Well, Bob and I would just like to once again thank everybody for hanging in there and doing all the great things that you continue to do. And the parade was awesome. It was so much fun, and it was wonderful to see everybody's faces. And Aaron, that costume, well, I can't say anything in public about that costume, but it was pretty good. It was really just a beautiful gesture in our community. Thank you so much, and everybody stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no evidence that was me.
I have evidence.
So he was the bunny.
I was a bunny. I was not that bunny.
You
Oh,
told
you
me
were
you
that-
weren't going to do that.
Well, peer pressure got me, and Commissioner Lees was driving the fire truck there. But I was.
Oh, is that right? Is that right?
Yeah, I was driving the engine. That's correct.
I will tell you.
wow.
I will tell you that we ran. The four of us in our house ran out of the house just in time to catch your rear escort and the back of the bunny waving at us, and it actually made the day of a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old and a couple other parents whose ages I'm not going to mention.
I think it made everybody's day. It really was
Yeah.
flying off Facebook and the Hatfield
Yes.
community group, and
Yes.
everybody was posting everywhere. It was absolutely an endless parade, even after it passed people's houses. Excuse me. So it was wonderful, and I think we should have a great big parade after we're all free and back to being out in public.
Great idea. I like that. All in favor, say aye.
What was that?
Aye.
I said, all in favor, say aye. Let's do that.
Aye.
There we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Jeez.
There we
Oh,
go.
wow.
That's an
Like
improvement.
Chief.
That's a little scary.
We should let the minutes reflect that Vice President Rogers did join us right after we did roll call.
Yes, yes.
A little technical difficulties.
All right, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Commissioner Lees.
Motion by Commissioner Lee, second by
Second.
Commissioner Rogers. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thanks for coming out, folks. Hope to see you in person soon.
Be safe.
We're clapping.
Thank you. Be safe.
Bye.
Night, everybody.